I remember back when I was in the auto industry, and my sales manager would tell me, he would tell me what to go say to the customer, right? And some of the stuff he would tell me to do, I'm like, are you crazy? There's no way I would go tell that customer that. And he's like, what's the worst that going to happen? What do you think? They're going to punch you in the face or something? And I'm like, I guess you're right. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah,
And so, yeah, they're not going to hurt you when you go
they're
on
not going to hurt
stage.
you.
What's the worst that's going to happen?
Like they're not
Like,
gonna laugh at your joke. That's the worst thing that can happen. And when that
right.
happens, I will say it's a little bit embarrassing, which is why I like bigger audiences. One person laughs, everyone starts laughing. In a smaller audience, it's like less of a chance that somebody's gonna like laugh at your joke or respond well to something. So that's why I like better audiences. There's more people, and people kind of feed off of each other. So even if you get one person, you'll get multiple, and then eventually the whole audience will be enjoying your speech.
Absolutely. I agree with that too. Some of the harder speeches I've given have been in smaller environments, and the energy can shift. One person in a small audience can shift the whole energy, right? If you only have 12 people in the room, one person can shift it. In a bigger audience, like, I don't know, it is less intimidating, which is very, very interesting.
It is. It's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, it's interesting that 12 people would be more terrifying
I
than,
think I think
10,000.
part of it is because when it's 12 people, it's 12 people. When it's like a big group of people, it's one group of people. Do you
Mm,
understand? It's like one when it becomes a larger group, it becomes an individual almost.
mm.
When it's a few individuals, there's a few individuals. So, I think part of the reason is that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And like with a bigger audience, you can't even really see them almost. It's like, it's just so big that you're right. It's not any one individual.
It's just
Okay.
it's a group of
Let's,
people.
let's talk about that then. What have you learned from Grant and Elena about, from your mom and dad? What have you learned about public speaking? What are they teaching you about public speaking? When you get up there on stage, are they coaching you specifically, or are you working with Pete Vargas and those guys, or like, talk to me about that experience.
I mean, me and my sister write all of our own speeches, but our dad helps us, like, fine tune them, figure out, where you could put something that could, make your speech better. So our dad helps us write our speeches, although me and my sister do 100% write them all. Um, and once it's kind of gotten to a point where me and my sister are happy, we just practice it, practice it in the mirror, read it over, practice how you're going to deliver it to the person. I mean, my parents have always been kind of more oriented on practical learning, hands-on, real learning when you learn something. And I think that's really valuable for everyone of all ages, practical learning. It's too many people learn only theoretically. Too many people learn only in textbooks, only, in pieces of writing. And I think going and doing something, it's so much different than what you'll read about it. So, I mean, ever since we've been younger, I mean, I'm still young, my sister's still young, but ever since we were, just little girls, we would go up and speak to people. I remember one time I was like 4 or 5 and I was like, no, I don't want to speak to them. I'm shy. My dad was like, stop playing around. You're not shy. Go speak to them. And I was like, yeah, okay. Okay, fine. I can't even say anything. Like, yeah, I guess I'm not shy. But it's just that practical learning is so important.
Yeah, you got to get your feet wet, right? So nothing teaches you how to swim like jumping in the
Like
pool or
swimming.
getting pushed in the pool, right?
Exactly. I mean,
Sink or
I could
swim.
swim before I could walk. Fun fact. Fun fact about
Yeah,
myself. So, I mean, it's just get your feet wet and learn practically.
absolutely. That was one of the things that helped me to overcome my fear of public speaking. Remember, I told you how big it was. And so the first thing I started to do was make these little videos driving around in my car. And I'd make these daily videos, and it just kind of got me in a habit of speaking like that. And then the second thing that I did was, started a podcast. I was like, okay, I have to overcome this.
How long have you had this podcast for?
6.5 years. I started it in January of 2018.
That's awesome. And you had my mom. Did you ever have my dad?
Yeah, I did back when he did Undercover Billionaire.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, I interviewed him, and yeah, it was very, very cool. That was That was an amazing, amazing interview.
My dad's good at being interviewed.
Yeah, it was memorable for sure.
That's awesome.